It is a great pleasure for me to be here with Loren. Loren and I met several years ago and became very fast friends. I consider her to be a great woman leader in her own right. I'm very impressed by all the things that she has accomplished and the things that she has yet to accomplish. I've also been fortunate enough to go on the journey with her as she wrote her book, but I'd like to tell you just a little bit about her. Loren Gray Flanagan, MPA, is a communication and artificial intelligence strategist advising companies on how to empower employees through engagement. She works with USI Insurance Services, where she serves as an employee benefits consultant, designing cost containment strategies that positively impact the bottom line, forecasts, and the results for clients that are insurmountable. In September 2019, Loren completed her certification in Artificial Intelligence Strategy from UC Berkeley School of Information. As an author, a first-time author, I think there's another book in there too, right? Her new book, 1000 Watts, released on Amazon June 21st, 2019, and is an output of her education and her life experiences. She has a great passion for data and healthcare information, communications, and technology. She continued to earn her education by getting a master's in public affairs, and which is what's led her to where she is today. And she is a great advocate on human capital policy centered on inclusion and diversity. So with that said, you have anything you want to start off with?
Yes, I want everyone to stand up. Energy going. Thank you, Mel. That was so great. It is so nice for me to be here. Thank you. So I decided that now or never, right? Now or never. Let's do something about this. I wanted to write the book 10 years ago, and it was time. So, and I'm sure all of you have something that you've been waiting to do, and my advice to you is not to wait. Would you all like to sit down now? Do you feel a little bit more energized? You can all sit down. But thank you very much. It's a great introduction. Let me linger here for a second and talk about who I am in my role. My boss, David Megashar, is completely instrumental in the fact that I was able to finish the book while I pursued my career. I am an employee benefits consultant. I work with clients in the mid-market sector. I'm a broker. It's very male-dominated. There are 3 females in my office that are brokers in the state of Indiana for USI Insurance. I sell health care, essentially, is what I do. What differentiates me from other brokers in the state of Indiana is that I bring my strategy. I am a communications strategist. So when I sit at the table across from a CEO or a CFO or an HR director or VP of HR, they all have different needs, right? The CFO wants to see what's going to happen with the bottom line. VP of HR, also has those needs, but they also worry about their people. When I come to the table, I will help them with cost containment strategies for their health care, but I also come to the table saying, look, communications is vital, especially with the way health care is and the costs are rising year after year. What are you doing about that? And they have a blank face. They need help with that. So that's where I come in. I look at the overarching strategy of the organization, and then I develop that wedge for the HR team and help them with their communication strategy. So that's pretty much
about you and your biography. How does this really relate to AI in the workplace?
Good question. I think it's very simple, actually. We need to start somewhere, and it starts with the data. I started studying data patterns in healthcare about 4 or 5 years ago, and I actually fell in love with it. I too am an introvert, but if I could look at myself, I'm a data enthusiast. I'm not a data scientist. I'm not, someone that will go in the back house and develop the algorithms for the data, but I am a data enthusiast, and I love what it tells me. It tells me the risks. It tells me gives me some key indicators that I can use in my strategy. So if we look at ourselves and our organization, I highly recommend just looking at your organization as becoming more of a data-driven organization. So if you take those data points and you look at it as a piece of your strategic plan overall, you can look at those data points and actually make sense of them year over year over year. So in 3 or 4 years, when you may be ready to implement an AI program with your organization, you have the proof, you have the points, you have the data points proving the direction that you want to go.
Thank you. When you and I first met, you were talking about writing your book. And I was very interested in how you were putting this together. And I really would like for you to share with everybody how and what really led you to write this book. I mean, what was at the root of it?
Okay, so I started the book thinking, I'm going to help women in business. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't know if any of you have written a book, but you start, I had all of my index cards out and I had it all, and it just wasn't working, and I was researching and I was talking to so many women, and I decided I was going to change that. I wasn't going to just focus on helping women in business and help them in the sometimes complicated world in which we work. I really wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to help women. I wanted to help women that may be at a crossroads, maybe at a fork in the road, help them find the resources and tools that they need to succeed. And the women are anyone from someone that just graduates from high school or college. Maybe it's a woman that has 2 children young children at home, and they're just starting to go back to school, and she's thinking, now maybe it's time, maybe I can start doing something, but I don't really know where to start. I don't know what to do. Maybe it's the woman who is climbed the corporate ladder, and she's all the way at the top, and she's looking at retiring, and she wants to stay relevant. She's at a crossroads. She doesn't know what to do. So it all comes back to wanting to help those women and help them succeed with the tools and resources. And with every chapter, that's what I've tried to do. And with every chapter, I call them my love letters. I write at the end of the chapter, you can do it. Let's go, let's connect, let's communicate. And it's all about connecting and communicating with heart. So it goes back to what David was talking about, that compassion. And I think that that will help us accelerate our path of change as women, especially when we go into the 4th Industrial Revolution. We're looking at women always competed with women and men, and now humanity is going to be competing against machine. It's just, this is our reality. So what is different between humanity and machine? It's our heart. It's our compassion. It's our conscience. It's our conscience. And so I think it's a very exciting time. In fact, can I just share a little story? I had a little vision, and my vision was, if we're all sitting in this room the way that we used to connect in the other revolutions, right, as we were moving through, we would have to actually reach out, and it would be more linear, right? I could be connected to someone way over on the other side of the room just by the mere fact that we were all connected this way. In the 4th Industrial Revolution, we do not have to do that any longer. The person sitting on this side of the room is connected to the person sitting all the way at the very end on the other side of the room. It's very non-linear in thinking, so one more reason why I think that the data points is the key component to how we will then stay connected. Well, I think what we can do is offer moving forward in Q1 and Q2. Progression Partners has been kind enough to offer our services. On your tables, does everyone have a Canvas strategy blueprint? Yes. On your table, at the end of my program, I completed the AI strategy canvas. I'm calling it a blueprint. I wanted you all to have one. This took me 3 months to complete, so it is not something that you can just do overnight. But again, if you start small, and it doesn't have to be big and scary, just think about your AI strategy and implementing and integrating those data points and those key indicators into your AI strategy canvas, and that's a great start. If you need help, then we are going to hold a couple of workshops next year.